The WNBA, this has to be the most pathetic professional organization I have ever come across. This has to be the most unprofessional organization I have ever come across. This league would definitely not succeed without Adam Silver saying, here's more money, here's more money, here's more money, here's more money. Without David Stern saying, here's more money, here's more money, here's more money, here's more money. This league would be gone. And that's what happens when you don't need to think logically, when you don't need to think like a business, when you can continue to put activism at the forefront because daddy's gonna continue to pay your bills. You're allowed to get off the rails. You're allowed to say whatever outlandish stuff you want to say.
The WNBA just delivered Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever a punishment so absurd it made even Angel Reese blink. And that girl rarely misses a moment for drama. Was this the league revealing its true bias? Or are we just watching a live episode of How to Alienate Fans in 10 Games or Less? Either way, it was spicy, chaotic, and unintentionally hilarious. Honestly, if you're not tuning in for the basketball, stay for the plot twists.
It is embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. It is absolutely embarrassing. And the fact is that originally it's, oh yeah, you know, we're looking towards everything. Then they had to double down. They actually redacted this statement. They redacted a statement. They redacted the statement saying we're looking at everything, saying, no, we're actually not looking at most of the stuff. We're looking at a lie spread on social media that went viral. We are looking into a literal lie spread on social media that got spoken into fact. We're looking at a lie.
Let's talk about this beautiful mess known as the WNBA, a league where passion is frowned upon, competitiveness is treated like a liability, and genuine rivalries are marked as emotional infractions. Picture your favorite sport. Now run it through the blender of corporate PR handbooks and HR training slides, then add a Pinterest quote about kindness. Welcome to the chaos. In one corner, you've got Caitlin Clark. Elite basketball IQ, polished execution, a walking highlight reel. In the other, Angel Reese, who has apparently mistaken every game for her own WWE entrance, complete with stare downs, trash talk, and enough theatrics to host a Broadway revival. If you stand with Caitlin Clark, comment, I stand with CC down below. Let's go.
Okay, so I didn't hear anything outside of the run-of-the-mill booing. But the WNBA seems content to follow through with this ridiculous investigation. Who is the WNBA going to let control their pocket strings, their pocketbooks? Because it seems to me like the new fans are the ones that's funding this whole league now.
So here's the scene. Caitlin Clark does what she does best, makes a smart, clean, strategic play. It's aggressive, sure, but nothing you wouldn't see in literally every competitive league on earth. But this is the WNBA, where intensity is now apparently criminal. Suddenly, her play becomes headline news. Not because it was dirty, but because someone caught feelings.
We make up about 70% of the fans overall. Otherwise, yesterday's game would have been watched by about 400,000 people, maybe. It probably got watched by what? Upwards of 2 million? I mean, does the WNBA want to lose Caitlin Clark fans?
Fans yell and fans scream and fans try to do anything they can to diminish their opponent's ability to make a bucket. And I think that it's very hard to really understand or really interpret this sound that way. At least for me, it is. And I'm really, really, really hoping that the WNBA did not just announce an official investigation based on internet hearsay and outrage.
Angel, of course, reacts like someone just keyed her car in the parking lot. And Clark? She just walks off, ice cold, calm, unbothered. Total boss move. But guess who made the headlines? Not Angel for escalating. Nope. The league decided to come down on, wait for it, Indiana Fever fans.
Do you want to know why I'm so angry about this? I'm so angry about this is because how many kids are there in that audience? How many kids are there? And I'm sorry. I'm cool with idiots online branding me as whatever they want to. But when it comes to innocent kids who just want to watch their favorite team, favorite players play basketball, and thankfully they're going to be oblivious to this. But I'm sorry, you're branding kids as dangerous. You are branding kids who are just enjoying their game, who are having the time of their lives watching this league as dangerous. This league does not want to grow. This Players Association do not want to grow. Neko Wumake, don't criticize.
Yes, the fans. Those wild criminals who had the gall to boo after their star player was targeted. How dare they express emotion at a sporting event? According to the WNBA's logic, loyalty now equals misconduct. They're turning every cheer into a liability, every passionate moment into a PR crisis. It's like the league wants every game to feel like a wellness retreat. No yelling, no rivalries, just clapping and mindfulness exercises.
These people are writing emails because they're so emotionally unhinged. They're so emotionally unhinged. They've never been checked a day in their life. Their parents allow them to act like fools with no repercussion, with no consequence. Always being acquiesced to every little complaint, to every little need, to every little this, to every little that. They're writing emails to get the Indiana Fever.
This could have been the WNBA's moment. Caitlyn versus Angel is the storyline they've been handed on a silver platter. It's box office gold. People are actually talking about the league for once, and not because they stumbled across it while looking for HGTV. But rather than lean into the tension and build it up the way every other successful league in history has done, the WNBA decided to throw a doily over it and ask everyone to keep their voices down. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has unintentionally become the league's Rorschach test. Depending on who you ask, she's either the savior of women's basketball or some mythical villain who ruins the game by being good. If you see greatness, congratulations, you've got eyes. If you see a threat, maybe you're just not ready for what real talent looks like. And if you dare to defend her, well, enjoy your stay in WNBA exile, where logic is banned and nuance goes to die.
4 hours ago, we had a situation that shook the earth. That is Caitlin Clark putting a flagrant foul on Angel Reese, and that foul arguably was probably one of the most transcendent moments in Caitlin Clark's career. To me, that moment there showed the world that Caitlin Clark wasn't bracking down for nothing, and she wasn't scared to get in the mix when it comes to protecting her teammates and stopping somebody from making the basket. Well, many other Angel Reese fans had rage war against Caitlin Clark fan base by saying racial slurs online, and me personally, I'm staying out of the racial stuff as of right now. But for them to sit up there and lie and say that Angel Reese again called racist names during the game, I had somebody from my team sitting right behind Chicago Sky bench. Wasn't nobody saying nothing about Angel, man.
Let's not forget how this started. There was a game, an actual basketball game. Clark made a solid play. Reese reacted like she'd been personally insulted. Clark walked off with more class than the league's entire PR department could dream of. And the response? Punish the fans. Because when in doubt, blame the people who still care. You almost have to respect the WNBA's consistency. They'll do Olympic-level mental gymnastics to avoid calling out Angel Reese or addressing Kathy Engelbert's selective silence. Angel's antics? Just emotions. Her over-the-top post-game behavior? She's passionate. But if a few fans yell boo in a tone that's slightly too assertive, break out the citations and clutch those pearls.
6 or 7 of their players have been called racial slurs for an entire day, but they're on the Indiana Fever. They don't care about those players. It's only certain players. The WNBA players, they don't want Caitlin Clark, and it's very clear. The WNBPA releasing a statement is the most embarrassing thing I've seen, because you know what? When it comes to the Fever players, it doesn't count. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. The WNBPA said something. And you know what? Their stance is clear. There's no place for hate unless it's towards Caitlin Clark or her teammates. Then it's fair game. They have made that point abundantly clear, and it's embarrassing.
This league acts like competitiveness is an act of aggression. That letting rivalries breathe is a threat to their kumbaya image. Like every player should leave the court arm in arm, singing friendship ballads and swapping smoothie recipes. But here's the thing. Fans don't want a pastel-colored group therapy session. They want edge. They want fire. They want passion. And Clark versus Reese delivers all of that on a silver platter. So what does the league do? It punishes emotion, suppresses fire, and tries to sterilize the most entertaining matchup they've had in years. It's like having primetime TV and running reruns of the Weather Channel. The league should be thanking Caitlin Clark for making the WNBA matter again, not turning her into a villain for daring to compete at the highest level.
They lost sight of reality. They lost sight of what real sports is about. The fans at the Indiana Fever game yesterday, they were being fans. They booed, they cheered, they screamed, they yelled. That's it. The Angel Reese fans, the old guard, the lowest common denominator that resides in the WNBA, the nose picker, the people that scratch their butt and don't wash their hands, those people saw that Caitlin Clark hard foul on Angel Reese, and they saw it as an opportunity. They saw it as an opportunity to do what they always do, make it about race.
Apparently, the WNBA has decided the only feelings worth protecting are that of Angel Reese. Fans, sorry, your joy and frustration are now liabilities. The people trying to actually enjoy the sport, the lifeblood of any league, are being told to tone it down. Because nothing screams professional competition like muffled enthusiasm and emotional regulation mid-dribble. Who needs authenticity when you can have an arena atmosphere modeled after a yoga studio? Let's talk about the punishment the WNBA handed out after the Caitlin Angel situation. Spoiler, it's laughable. You'd think that with all the coverage and controversy, someone would be held accountable in a meaningful way. Angel Reese, who charged into the drama with the energy of a demolition derby. Not a fine, not even a wrist slap. No, the league's bold, groundbreaking disciplinary move was to scold Indiana Fever fans. Yes, because clearly the real threat to public order is people booing at a basketball game.
So as soon as I landed from Indianapolis to LaGuardia, New York, I got an email in my inbox relating to a WNBA statement. And to be quite frank, I was surprised to see it. I didn't think these things would be a topic this year. It's certainly not at this point, but here we go again.
Apparently, passion is now punishable. What's next? Handing out citations for enthusiastic clapping, a noise limit on high fives. The way things are going, don't be surprised if WNBA games start requiring fans to sign a kindness pledge before entering the building. No sarcasm, no intensity, just calm, regulated support approved by the League of Emotionless Spectating. God forbid someone raise their voice. At this rate, popcorn might get banned for being too crunchy. And sarcasm? That's practically a felony in today's WNBA climate. The league acts like it's one ironic tweet away from full system failure. But this isn't about a beef between two players anymore. No, this is a symptom of a league so terrified of losing control of the narrative that they're squeezing the life out of it. Anything remotely real or unscripted gets sanitized into oblivion. The goal? Some squeaky clean brand image that looks like it was designed in a Silicon Valley HR office during a mindfulness retreat.
Number one, let me put it out there. I don't believe for a second that Indiana Fever fans were yelling racial slurs where there were television mics down by the court. I don't believe it. They would have gotten thrown out of the arena. So don't let that narrative, it would be everywhere. Somebody would have it on camera. It would get leaked. It would be online right now. It's not. Everybody's got camera phones. We would already know if that was true.
Here's a wild concept. Maybe fans like rivalries. Maybe they crave that chaotic energy. Because newsflash, that tension, that unpredictability is what keeps people from falling asleep during another 50-point slogfest. The league's obsession with neutralizing everything that smells like drama is exactly why most of their games don't trend unless Caitlin Clark hits a logo 3. Instead of harnessing the natural electricity of a rivalry, the WNBA pulls out the rulebook, points fingers at fans, and releases statements full of corporate fluff. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is the only reason most of these matchups have a pulse. She's the engine, the magnet, the headline. Yet the league is too busy bubble-wrapping Angel's ego to realize their MVP moment is happening in real time, and they're fumbling it.
There's a lot of tension going on online between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark fan base. The reality of the situation is, man, this is the reality for the Angel Reese fan. Angel Reese is not relevant at all as of right now for basketball. Angel Reese is a social media influencer. Her basketball career is diminishing right before our eyes.
Let's be real. Without Caitlin Clark, half these box scores wouldn't make it past the group chat. She's why tickets are selling, why merch is flying, why cameras are even pointed at the court. And what's the league's strategy to nurture this boom? They treat her supporters like rebels and focus all their PR energy on shielding Angel from any noise above a whisper. It's almost impressive. the sheer dedication to missing the point.
She needs this rivalry to keep going to make herself relevant in the basketball world. Because in the basketball world, her attributes and stuff really is starting to diminish. This year, we're going to see a decline in Angel Reese. Now, granted, she got a double-double yesterday, but she had to work her butt off to get it, man. And I'm here to tell you, we're going to see a diminishing Angel Reese this basketball season.
This isn't growing pains. This is a textbook example of how to sabotage your own momentum. The WNBA finally gets the eyes it's been begging for, and instead of leaning into it, they're drowning in crisis comms and values-first nonsense. At this point, the only thing missing is a therapy puppy stationed courtside to comfort players after they get blocked. And the Indiana Fever fans? They did what every fan base from Boston to Barcelona has done for generations. They booed the villain. That's not hate. That's tradition. That's what builds legends. Without a villain, there is no hero. But try explaining that to a league whose idea of controversy is a firm handshake and a long stare.
Racism in itself, and I feel like the battles that, folks go through are not to be weaponized for basketball. It feels like such an empty platitude designed to vilify people more than really stop anything legitimate.
Caitlin Clark, keep doing exactly what you're doing. Drop dimes, splash threes, walk away from the chaos with that ice-cold smirk that says, I don't need to say a word. Because that's what stars do. They don't get dragged into messes, they rise above them. You're not just the future of this league, you're its present, and the only thing keeping it trending between tip-offs. And Indiana Fever fans? Take a bow. You showed up, made noise, and reminded everyone what real sports culture looks like. While some arenas feel like the waiting room at a DMV, you brought energy, fire, and yes, a little pettiness, and we love you for it. Sports aren't meant to be filtered through HR approval. They're messy, raw, emotional, and unforgettable because of it.
My advice to Caitlin Clark is never interact with that girl on the basketball court or off the basketball court, because any basketball play will turn into a non-basketball discussion. If you ever have to guard her, just call for a switch. Like, if she's going for a layup, just let her get the 2 points, man. Don't even foul. Don't even attempt to steal it. Because these nerds on social media are not gonna let the two of you ever interact without having a non-basketball discussion. So don't even interact with her no more.
So here we are. The WNBA's mask is off. Not the mask of empowerment or trailblazing. No, this one's a soft, beige-toned cover of conformity, and please don't yell too loud. We're watching a league that sells itself as bold and fearless, but reacts to confrontation like a sitcom dad caught in a lie. Awkward, defensive, and completely missing the moment.
She going after her like she want to fight. Look at her. Angel Reese pulling the jersey up and everything. She's like, forget basketball. She cussing at her. Oh my gosh.
God forbid anyone get too passionate, too invested, too loud. If you boo, you're problematic. If you cheer too aggressively, that's borderline misconduct. Want to win with some swagger? Time to issue an apology letter. We're not watching sports. We're watching corporate etiquette workshops in jerseys. This league wants NBA-level respect, but recoils from the heat required to earn it. The players are hungry, talented, and ready to fight for every possession. The league, meanwhile, looks like it's terrified someone might get too emotionally involved. They want the numbers, but not the noise. The highlights, but not the headlines. The energy, but none of the edge. And that's not how you build a legacy. That's how you fumble one. If you stand with Caitlin Clark, comment, I stand with CC down below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.